A very good morning to all my dear friends. I am Prashant Pavani. I hope you all are doing good, my dear friends. Today is 19th November, Monday today, and today we are going to start our day with Henry Ford. Failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently. So failure is something that is not the end. First of all, we have to understand this thing. The second thing that I would like to add here is that with failure, you get experience, and experience is something that you cannot buy it from the market, right? This is a gift that life is giving it to you, right? That's what I think. That with failure, you get experience, and this experience is a gift from the life itself. And if you can use this gift intelligently, then you are just, you are there. Then that's success in itself, right? That you can digest your failure too. That in itself is a success or successful thing to do. With this, dear friends, we have a few important articles on our table today. The first one that we are going to go through is this one, being prepared. And this being prepared is about Tamil Nadu's cyclone called Gaj, right? We are going to talk about it. We are going to learn so many important things associated with natural disasters in general. But before that, I would like to inform all of you about our pen drive and tablet courses that are available for various different exams. To find out more about it, do check out StudyIQ.com. Let me tell you that the good thing about our pen drive and tablet courses is that they are designed by some of the best faculties of our country. Once you'll go through it, once you visit our StudyIQ.com website, you'll find some demo lectures as well. You can go through demo lectures, and if you want to know more about it, or if you have any question or queries or anything, you can feel free and give us a call on the numbers that you can see on your screen. Now, if I ask you about some basic necessities, right, of human beings, then you will tell me, and I'm sure we all agree on this thing, that if we draw a pyramid, the most basic thing is food, clothing, and housing, right? These are some of the basic things that are required by any human being. Once we get these things, then we aspire for good health as well as education. Again, there is nothing wrong with it, because if we have these two things, then we can convert ourselves into human capital, and human capital is one of the most important asset for any country. Now, there are a few people out there in our country, and I'm sure many a times we have came across this sort of articles or this sort of views or opinions that we should first sort out this food, clothing, and housing things. We need to get rid of poverty. We need to focus on more health and more education as far as quality and quantity is concerned, and then we can focus on space research and other technological or defense and other things. Now, these people are right when they are saying that we need to focus on these basic things, right? The basic things that you can see on your screen, this ones I'm talking about. But at the same time, right, if we are ignoring space, if we are ignoring technological innovations and things like that, then that's a big mistake that we are doing. And we are not doing this mistake, let me tell you, right? We are simultaneously working on both the things. On one side, we are trying to get rid of all this evils of society like poverty, inequality. We are trying to move ahead in space as well. And this is a picture that you can see on your screen. Clearly you can see it's a satellite image, and this image indicates that before we were a bit prepared before this cyclonic storm or this Gaj hit this Tamil Nadu. So Tamil Nadu was prepared, and this is the thing that we need to do, right? Preparation is the key, as you can see here from this picture here, right? Preparedness plays a very important role. Then once you are prepared, then you go through this disaster, and how you respond, and recovery, mitigation, and again preparedness is the key. So this is how this circle of this any natural disaster works. The more aware we are about it, if we have some information in advance, then that's the most important phase or the time that we have to prepare ourselves and to mitigate the risks associated with any disaster. Now, this is something that is not possible with earthquake. At present, we are working on it, and it's not just us, right? The whole world is working on this thing, like how we can if there is any device or if there is any method through which we can find out a couple of hours ago or maybe week or month ago, right? If we can have this advanced warning system with earthquake as well, then that will be outstanding thing. So Tamil Nadu prepared itself for Cyclone Gaj, and early warning and mitigating the impact of cyclone was one of the most important thing. And the good thing is that bureaucracy of our country, particularly of Tamil Nadu, central as well as state level bureaucracy, played a very important role. Everything was sorted out, right? Shelters were already there, people were evacuated from all this danger area, and post disaster as well, things are going so far so good. So this is something, our bureaucracies are acquiring higher efficiency, and this is a good news, right? It means that all our efforts are producing results. Of course, gradually we are going to see more development, but things are going in right direction. So that's again a good thing. Now, naturally, right, this cyclonic gaj or the cyclone gaj was a bit heavy, or I would say a bit, bit more severe. I'm not giving you the category because I have a question for you guys. So at the end of this discussion, of course, or end of this lecture, I mean. So this gaj damaged infrastructure, property, agriculture, right? Tens of thousands of trees are down. 30,000 plus electric poles are down nearby this coast area. Even some central Kerala districts are also affected by this gaj. So you can imagine the power of this gaj. Now we have some categories here, right? We have this higher vulnerability category of various different states, particularly if we look at eastern coast of our country, and I'm talking about this portion here. So this portion, you can see multiple, I would say multiple disaster, or it is prone to multiple disasters. Like this zigzag line that you can see here indicates this coastal region of our country is prone to tsunami. So that's a big danger. The other thing is when you go through this, various different lines, green, then you have a light pink line, and then you have this, a sort of bluish line. So it indicates from April to May, July to September, and at present we are in October and November, and we find that in October, November as well, this portion, this eastern coast is highly vulnerable to this sort of cyclonic storms. So you have these 4 states: Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, Tamil Nadu, and West Bengal, of course. And starting from north, you can start with West Bengal, then you have Odisha, then you have Andhra Pradesh, and the 4th one is Tamil Nadu. And of course, you can add Puducherry as well, which is our union territory. Just a small example here. Then when it comes to western coast, keep this thing in mind. When it comes to western coast, we have just one state, that is Gujarat. That's my home state, and Gujarat is also again classified or falls under this higher vulnerability categories. Other western coastal states are in next category, so they are not that high vulnerable. They will be vulnerable, so it's not that bad. So these are 5 states. They are mostly exposed to this cyclonic storms. Now the thing is, we know that climate change is going on, and it impacts the poor people the most, because they don't have house, they don't have other facilities, right? And they are the ones who are highly affected. Most of them are poor because they are working in this unorganized sector. And you know it very well when you have extreme heat wave, say for example, which is part of again climate change. So if you have a day where you have in summertime, if you have a couple of days where you have this alert of heat waves or extreme heat wave, then naturally these people working as laborers, they cannot work right in outdoors, so they are going to lose their couple of days of money. And climate change impacts our farmers and our fishermen and other people as well who are relying on natural resources. So they are the ones who are directly affected by this climate change. And what I'm trying to tell you here is that we need to, you find this type of questions in your mains examination or maybe in essays as well. So always remember, simultaneously working on both the things is the key here. Now if you have other natural hazards, you can see here you have these areas that are prone to Drought, earthquake areas are also given here, right? You have this green belt or green portion here. You have above 8 magnitude earthquake can hit here. Then you have some gray dots where you find 7 to 7.5 and things like that. Now let's go through this interesting infographic. You can see here types of disturbances and wind speed. So low pressure, then you have depression. So far things are not that severe. Then you have deep depression, again manageable thing. Then comes this cyclonic storms and severe cyclonic storm, and then very severe cyclone and super cyclones. And you can see here super cyclones, you have this wind kilometer per hour speed is 221 or more than that. So it is category extreme damage, category 4 or category 5. Category 5 is catastrophic. It will bring so many things, right? It will bring water from coastal area. It will it will uproot your houses as well and other infrastructure, and severe extreme damage will take place in category 4 as well, as you can see on your screen. So once you download the PDF of this lecture, I want you guys to go through all this important information that you can see on your screen, and also make sure that you at least revise this thing 2 to 3 times. Now there is a lot to be done at present as well, and the good thing is behavior of political parties. Various political parties of Tamil Nadu, they have behaved quite maturely, right? They acted in a mature manner, I would say, because back in 2015 when Tamil Nadu was affected by this Chennai flood of 2015, at that point of time the behavior of political party was very childish. They were blaming each other for doing this and that, but at present what they are doing is they are working with each other and they are working for the people. So that's a very interesting sign coming from Tamil Nadu. The other thing is now the political parties, particularly this opposition parties, they should pay attention to, and they should give stress on this thing that this post-cyclone relief promises like building houses. And Tamil Nadu government has also said that if someone has lost their lives or family members will be given with 10 lakh rupees per family. So now the main focus of all political parties should follow up this post-cyclone relief promises. And there are so many things that we need to do, right? Insurance is one of them, creating awareness about insurance. Then creating this village disaster team where you have people from your village, 1 or 2 guys are trained for this sort of disasters and what to do and things like that. And you have this point, gathering point where everyone should gather during this point of time. Some buildings where you can hide or take shelter and things like that. All this relief material, and so something like this should be there. So there are so many things that still are in pipeline. We need to do it, but we need to do it as soon as possible, because what's happening because of this climate change is that frequency as well as severity of this type of natural disasters has gone quite, it has gone up. Now moving on to another item, further stressed by thermal power. This one is talking about water, it's talking about thermal power, and we find some very important information, I believe, for your prelims examination, of course for your mains, but for your prelims as well. And the thing that is important for your prelims that I find here in this article is this one: Composite Water Management Index, right? CWMI. Remember that CWMI is a report that is launched by Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog comes out with this Composite Water Management Index, and this Composite Water Management Index, or CWMI, is prepared by Niti Aayog in partnership with Ministry of Water Resources. Second one is Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation, and the third one is this Ministry of Rural Development. So remember, if they ask you this question, that which agency, body, ministry, etc. comes out with this report, then it is Niti Aayog. But how many agencies are associated, and if you have to take one of this combination sort of 1, 2 and 3 and 2, 3 and 4 and things like that, then remember all these names. They are all partners in making this CWMI report. Now this report is interesting, or it is something that we cannot turn away from, is because 600 million people face high to extreme voter stress in India. When we say 600 million, we are talking about, roughly speaking, 50% of our population. As per this CWMI, people, right, 600 or 50% people are facing high to extreme voter stress in our country. Now you have this 9 various different things that are part of this CWMI. You can of course go through it. There is no point of me going through it. Of course, when you download it, you can go through it, so I'm not reading it out loud. Now, Voter Quality Index, our rank as per the CWMI, out of 122 countries, we are at 120. Rank 120 indicates we are in the worst state. And the other thing is, look at our rivers, ponds, surrounding areas. Once a festival is over, what we find is that people will throw away so many things in it, and this behavior of ours, right? These industries are literally, throwing away its industrial waste in this freshwater rivers, and now our freshwater rivers are no more freshwater rivers. They are basically a chemical rivers, or rivers filled up with chemicals. And so it's our lack of awareness, at the same time not taking care about nature, and there are so many other things because of which we find ourselves at this position, and which is very sad. It is also predicted that the way things are going on, after 2030 we are going to lose 6% of our GDP because of this excessive water, or this stress of natural resources. As far as water demand and supply is concerned, the figures are here on your screen. By 2030, right, just to take it as 1500 billion cubic meter, and take this one as 750. So our demand is going to be twice than what our supply is. So this severe mismatch is going to create more and more water stress, as well as issues in our country, social, political and other sort of economical issues, geographical issues as well. And it is also said that if the world will have, if God forbid, but if we have World War III, then the main core topic will be water. Water is going to be the next reason for World War III. So you can understand, without water life is not possible, right? We are doing so many things, and research is going on. A couple of months ago this thing was in news. Remember that with the help of Chandrayaan-1, NASA found this water, or not water exactly, but ice in moon. This interstellar, or moving from one planet to another, that was something that was said by Stephen Hawking as well. And there are so many other people, they have said that we are not going to die here, we are going to leave this planet, and we are going to live in some other planet, because the way things are going on, right, we have been destroying it for a very long period of time, and now we are not that far from tipping point. Once we cross this tipping point, then there is no return ticket at all. As far as energy sector is concerned, and this article is paying, the second part of this article, I would say, is paying attention to this thermal power, or this overall energy sector. The share of water consumed by this sector was 0.62% in 2010. Energy sector we are talking about, which is pegged to rise up to 1.37% in 2030 and 8.98% in 2050. Remember, at the same time, you have to use this water for out of 100, if nearly 9 or 10% of your water is being used by electricity or thermal production or any other production, then remember that out of that 90 you have to manage so many things: drinking water, water for domestic use, for agriculture, for other purposes, for industries, and I can go on and on. So Central Electricity Authority report of March 2018 indicates that thermal electricity, right, 86% of India's total power generation is coming from thermal electricity, and thermal electricity uses coal as a fuel and water as this heated and creating this steam. So 77% of India's total electricity comes from thermal power plants that are dependent on fresh water sources. And out of this fresh water cooled thermal plants, 38.9% of 38.9% of generation capacity is installed in areas with high or extremely high water stress. So you can understand here that way we are using water, coal and other things are not sustainable, and we need to do something about it. The best thing that we can do is we can make sure that we are sharing proper data, reliable, thoroughly researched data, easy to understand data with each other, and the more sharing we do, the better we can form our policy, the better decisions that we can take. And if we can take better decisions, then of course we can get rid of all these issues that are going on as far as water and natural resources are concerned. Now, so we have done with two most important articles. This one is about RBI's section 7. I'm sure you know what section 7 is all about, but again we are going to quickly go through some important points that we find in this power of balance in the balance. And we have one news item that will add on to the things that we are going to discuss, or it will provide us the latest update as far as this RBI versus government of India sort of conflict that is going on or was going on, right? The reason I'm using was is because we have a news item. So we know this RBI governor, autonomy of RBI governor, and the government's hold on this RBI, and all these things were discussed by us a couple of days ago. And we have this suggestion that was coming from government that board of directors of the Reserve Bank of India it will take decisions that will have to be followed by RBI governor and things like that. Now, from last 83 years, we haven't used this section 7 of RBI Act of 1934. And to understand this thing bit more, in a better way, I have this example of corporate setup. So what happens in a corporate world, or this private companies or big giant companies? You have this managing director and you have this board of directors. So this board, right, say for example, let's say we have 5 individuals in this board, or they are this board members. So this board of directors, they will select one out of them as managing director. So managing director is like sort of acting boss. He or she will take all important decisions, and he or she will have to look after the board as well, board of the other members, and he will provide reports, and other members will provide suggestions and other things. So this is how big giant companies roll, or this is how they work. Now when it comes to our RBI, it's a bit different here. We have a governor, and governor is not equivalent to managing director. Of course his job is equivalent to managing director. He's the main man, or woman who will run this federal bank of our country, or this main bank of our country, Apex Bank. But when it comes to powers, then he's not getting powers from this board of RBI. He's getting power from RBI Act and not from this board of directors. When it comes to his appointment, his or her appointment, or governor's appointment, it is Prime Minister in consultation with Finance Minister who will appoint the next governor. The RBI board has no say whatsoever in his or her appointment. Now at present, we have a board, and we of course have this board is made up of various different members, which are clearly stated in the Act. So we have governor, then we have 4 deputy governors, we have 4 directors, 10 directors to be nominated by central government, and then you have 1 government official who is again nominated by central government. And so far in last 83 years, how things have worked is that it has worked with this unsaid understanding that if advice is coming from RBI board, then governor will pay attention to this advice, and it has always been this way. Like in recent past, we saw this tussle going on, and government was going to use this section 7. But now today we have a good news, and we'll talk about it in a minute. So I hope things are clear to you, right, as far as this RBI governor and this balance of power and things are concerned. Now we have these 2 articles. One is called Britain on Edge, and this one is her toughest week. So both these articles are talking about this thing called Brexit. Now Brexit is something that has been in news since last 2.5 years, and I'm sure we all know about this thing, that we have this economic union called European Union, and UK was part of this European Union. But now in 2016 there was this referendum, and finally UK decided that it will step out of this European Union. That's what the people of Britain were asking for from the government. So David Cameron resigns because he was saying he was a no sayer for this Brexit. And then comes Theresa May. Theresa May was a yes sayer, again from the same party, Conservative Party. And now the reason why it is in news is because the deadline for Brexit is not that far. And what we find is that political issues are going on in Britain itself. Within the ruling party, you have so many people who are not happy with Theresa May. So there can be a no confidence thing as well against her. So this is one of the reasons why it is her toughest week. So that's everything as far as this Brexit is concerned. We don't have to go into that much technicalities. Latest news items, we have this 3 killed and 15 injured in attack on religious group in Punjab. 3 persons including preacher Sukhdev Kumar died, and we have this reports coming that ISI backed Khalistani and Kashmiri terror groups. They could be probably involved in this attack. Government directions to RBI under Section 7 unlikely. So this is a good news, or final touch, I would say, on the discussion that we did on RBI versus government. So government has decided not to invoke Section 7, so things will be sorted out using consensus and understanding. So that's a good news. It will send a positive signal in the market that was required or need of the hour. Modi government divested twice as much as UPA. So it's about disinvestment, right? Total disinvestment since 1991 has been 3.63 lakh crore rupees. In last 4.5 years, government has divested 2.1 lakh crore rupees. So that is great as well. There are positive and negative things about it, but of course the main duty of government is to govern, right? To work as a manager rather than being in business. So if it is divesting, then it's not doing that wrong thing as far as I know. Then rare bird sighted in Kerala's Chinnar sanctuary. So you have this Sri Lankan frogmouth bird called Sri Lankan frogmouth. For the first time it was spotted in the eastern side of Western Ghat. Normally you find them in the western side of Western Ghat. And you have this forest filled with butterflies. So Parambikulam Tiger Reserve is in news for this thing. So keep this thing in mind. Keep this figure in your mind. Or not figure, but keep this name in your mind all the time. Make sure you have to, if you have to, then do revise it as well, because you find this type of questions in your prelims examination. Report on Khashoggi's killing expected in 2 days has been said by Trump. US envoy holds talks with Taliban. Right, they had a detailed chat with Taliban. And you have vocabs on your screen. This is your research topic of the day. Can you give me the name of the person and why you find this person in news? Who is he? And what was going on in his nation? If he's not from India, then what was going on? Questions, right? National Research Mitigation Project works under the aegis of which ministry? And Cyclone Gaja's category is dash, right? So these are your questions. This is my FB page and Twitter handle from where you can download the PDF of today's lecture. Thank you very much for your love and support. God bless you all. Do share this lecture with other students. Jai Hind.